If you watched the NTSA video,
the printer should tell us he has an excuse for the printing services not to be there for over a month.
Kitu yenye ilinistua is when the contractor was asked their capacity. Mara ya kwanza alisema a certain amount. Akafinywa kidogo ikateremka. Akafinywa kidogo tena ikateremka. So, watu wa supply chain, shida iko wapi? Because we're going to look at the timeline of that tendering process. But then, watu wa procurement, mutaambiwa nini kwa hiyo report? Ama tutasamehewa raundi hii? And you see, we don't have all of the information. So, that's why minangojea hii report. Something close to that is, kukikuwa na shida ya corruption in Kenya, it is always blamed on lack of capacity. We lack skills, training, hakuna, and that's why the aspect ya training imesisitizwa. You have to go for training. So with all this training, are we saying hatutakuwa na shida ya corruption? Is that what we are saying? Let us have a look at a certain paper. And then we look at NTSA, their timeline, mpaka last week. Okay, it's by someone called Makiva, 2021. Okay, Public Procurement Oversight and the Scourge of Corruption in the Public Sector, a comparative and Kenya. So, on this highlighted place, it is no doubt that both countries discussed in this chapter do have policies and procedures to govern public procurement. It would appear as though that these countries developed these policies to gain international legitimacy, only to tick a box instead of enhancing good governance. What do you mean tick a box? Imagine we have a project and tumeenda kwa our donors and they tell us we need to put in place A, B, C, D. And we do that so that we get funds. That is what they are talking about. Something else? Corruption. Ina happen hapa kwa vendor selection, and then Kagame and Wamalwa say that corruption in public procurement covers an array of irregularities and illegal acts characterized by intentional deception. Therefore, it is safe to argue that logic appears to be applied with intention to embezzle state coffers to benefit the few greedy. Furthermore, we have put all these mechanisms to fight corruption. But, even with that in place, they lacked biting teeth. You guys remember a while back, someone said we have big fish and small fish. You can ask, why is this all important? Because you can be able to say we have one public official who is corrupt. Or you can blame it on the organization or institutional failures. Okay, hii inafanya kazi, hii ingine haifanyi kazi. But what happens when we have state capture? What happens?
Iliandikwa tarehe 6 Septemba. Nakumbuka ya kwamba ni tarehe 30 ambayo tulitangaziwa ya kwamba hizi number plates zimesha tengezwa na zinakuwa rolled out, yani the launch. So, 2014 kukakuwa na hii tender for both the number plates and the smart driving license. 2014. 2015, there's a German company which won the tender to supply new generation number plates. But kukakuwa na shida. And the Interior Cabinet Secretary at that time alikuwa amesema, okay, the German company can have it. But then we have a local company called Tropical Technologies which lodged a complaint with the Public Procurement Administrative Review Board. Okay, so what happened? The award, your tender, it was actually cancelled. 2016, NTSA re-advertises the tender and receives bids from 6 companies, including that company that won, MIG International and Tropical Technologies. Okay. However, it is delayed by legal disputes and budgetary constraints. Pause and think about that. Okay, tuendele. 2019 ndo kukakuwa na mashida because kukakuwa na the scandal ya the staff issuing fake driving licenses and logbooks. There was a major shake-up of top management to streamline operations and dismantle corruption cartels. We have some guys who resigned
including the supply chain director, I think. But some of the guys who went home, so we have the director of registration and licensing, the director of road, deputy supply chain, deputy motor vehicle inspection, manager supply chain, and manager ICT. The same 2019. NTSA says, okay, it will issue a fresh tender to circumvent the legal hitch that blocked the prisons department from picking a firm to supply smart number plates. Okay, and there's a quote here. Inasema, we do not see any reason to give the deal to a foreign firm since there's need to support local manufacturing. Once we have verified that they can deliver what we are looking for, then we will proceed to tender. So 2020, kukakuwa na the High Court, which suspended the government's plan to produce a facility for the motor vehicle digital registration number plates. Okay. This is because Senator Omtata had argued that between 2013 and 2015, the government spent more than 1 billion acquiring, commissioning, and testing a facility for the production of the new generation number plates at Committee Prison. 2021, okay, the Kenya International Freight and Warehousing Association raised concerns over harassment of drivers moving units that are yet to get physical number plates. Okay, so watu wakaanza kusema tuko na shida ya number plates. What happened? Kumbe, we have a production hitch at Committee Maximum Prison, and NTSA acknowledged that hitch, citing that we have a short supply of number plates and logbooks by the State Department of the Correctional Facilities and the government printer, respectively. You guys remember that there was a legal hitch, eh? So, kuko na mbili. Kuko na hiyo ya the suppliers and then Senator Omtata, the current Senator Omtata. So, Omtata challenged the tendering process, okay? Akisema that it was not following a due tender process. I will share the video, but it says, this is what Omtata says. I am in possession of a memo written on September 6th by NTSA, and it is from the Director of Registration and Licensing, okay, to the Director General, asking him to give an order for direct procurement. To Omtata, he was saying that, you remember that production that was supposed to be at Committee Prison, that there are some people who had hatched a plan to use those machines under a different company for their own benefit. And then, you recall that kukona other small companies, when you walikuwa nasema wanafunga shop, they live in Kenya because, hey, kukona cartels. So, who here is to blame? Who here is to blame? Kama nimeruka something kwa hii timeline, muniambie. But that is the timeline that I got.